All right, beautiful people, we're back. I've got myself a microphone. We've got the Troutman for America sign back here. I'm feeling really good. 1 month into this thing. I mean, man, time flies. Time flies. We're crushing it, though. We got America Deserves to Win, the blog up, americadeservestowin.com. People are loving that. Troutmanforamerica.com, obviously up, looking gorgeous. Tons of money running in. I mean, just tens of thousands of dollars. The money is just pouring in, which is fantastic. Look, I'm an independent, right? So we have to have these contributions from people like you. $20. Somebody gave $20 the other day. I love that. You know, people giving of their poverty, not of their wealth, right? Giving even of their living. I respect that. These are people that really believe. They believe in America and they want to see something good happen here. So look, I am going to do something that you're not supposed to do. Right? Look, I'm not a politician, man. I am an attorney. I am a great debater. I'm a great negotiator. I'm a guy that can get deals done. I don't pretend to be a politician. I have no interest in pretending to be anything. What you're going to get from me, what you've always gotten from the czar, from Eric Troutman, is integrity, right? What does integrity mean? It means that you're just real. It just means like you are who you are. And so one of the things that just kind of makes me me is I love to talk to people. I love to talk about people. I love to engage. So we've got currently, right now, we've got Dave Min, right? We know he's the weakest Democrat in Congress. We know he's very weak. Nice guy, seemingly, but maybe not. Maybe he's arrogant. I'm not sure. I listened to a podcast episode of his from last year, and he was calling people terrible parents and kind of making some statements that I thought, man, that's a lot of arrogance coming from a guy who kind of positions himself as like a nice guy. So like, I'm a nice guy, right? I'm a nice guy, but I'm also a tough guy, but I'm also a nice guy. He tries to be a nice guy, but maybe he's not. Maybe he's kind of an arrogant guy. We know he's very weak, but arrogant, that's not a good combination. That's not good to see. But I'm going to talk about Min plenty, but I don't want to talk about Min on this particular little discussion. By the way, YouTube channel, over 1.5 million views, like 15,000 followers now. I love all of you. Thank you. Thank you. I want to talk actually about some other folks that are currently running. I was going to say running against me, but that's not actually accurate because all of these people jumped in to the race before I announced. So I don't think any of these folks knew they were going to have to run against me. I'm not sure that they still want to run against me. For all I know, by the time I play this, they're going to be like, you know what, we're out of here. And look, let me just start by saying, look, I respect you guys. I do. Even you, Dave, even you, I respect you. But you know, Michael, Maxetti, Hunter Miranda, Julia Hashemieh, and Sage Lamb. And by the way, if I mispronounced your name, I'm not trying to be dismissive. I'm doing my best. Let me start by saying I respect you guys. I do. I think it takes incredible guts to run for office in this country. And if you pay any attention to anything that I've said, I want to encourage people to run for office. But I want to encourage qualified people to run for office. And I say this respectfully, none of you are. None of you are. And we're going to talk about why that is. But regardless of whether or not you're qualified, you've got guts and you're trying to do something for your country and you believe in your country. And I love that. I love that. And so let me just start by saying thank you. Thank you for being part of the process. Thank you for really trying to do something for your nation. And this includes you, Dave, man. This includes you. Thank you. I know you guys, you're doing your best. You mean well. I know you do. But because you mean well, because this is coming from a place of integrity for each of you, because this is something that you actually care about your country, I would encourage you to just drop out. And I say that, again, I say it with love, and I say it with respect. You need to support a candidate that can actually get the job done out here. And if you don't know who I am yet, you should look into me. And I say all of this very respectfully. I'm not trying to be diminishing of you. I'm not trying to be dismissive. But the truth is, right, there's only one guy that's qualified to represent the people here and to really get things done in D.C., really change the system, really, really change the system, stand up to Trump when he needs to be stood up to, you know, support him when he's making sense, right? Like, you got to have somebody that can get deals done for California and can take care of the people in this district and get good deals done. And that somebody is me. Just look at my background, guys, right? I mean, especially you, Hunter, you're a nice kid. Like, you're a nice kid. You're barely starting your career, man. You're talented. You obviously have talent, but go make something of yourself in your career, right? Hey, come work for Troutman and Amin, right? Go make yourself a great attorney. become a complex litigator or become a guy that helps the people. If you want to be more on the consumer side, although I'll tell you, a little pro tip, you'll help the people a lot more on the defense side. You have a lot more power on the defense side than you do on the plaintiff side. Just something to think about. But all of you, again, you're well-meaning Americans. I know you mean well. If you want this constituency, if you want District 47 to have the best possible outcome in this election, I want you to consider supporting me. I mean, I'm being very serious. So I want to talk about each of these guys first. I'm going to start with Sage and Julia, Sage Lamb and Julia, again, Hashemieh. I hope I'm saying that right. Again, Julia, if I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I have done my best to kind of look into them. There's just really not much available. I'm not sure how serious these folks are as candidates. And again, if you're very serious and maybe you're just very nascent in your campaign, Sage does have a campaign website up. Julia does not. I don't really see anything from either one of them in terms of thought leadership, in terms of video content, in terms of really kind of putting out a platform or kind of putting out what they stand for. So, look, maybe that changes. I'll keep an eye out. And if I see something more, I'll address what I see. Sage's materials on his website looks pretty straightforward, kind of more of a typical Republican promising this or that. We all know what happens with typical Republicans, though, right? They're just going to fall in line. The guy's got no chance of being elected. No disrespect, Sage. You seem like a nice dude. But realistically, no Republican is going to get elected out of this district after Prop 50. 0% chance, 0% chance. Orange County is not sending a Trump-supporting Republican to D.C. And Sage, I haven't met you. I don't know you. And this is true for you too, Julie. I don't care if you say you're not going to support Trump. You're a Republican. We all know you're going to because you have to. Your party alignment requires you to, and you probably mean well enough, but ultimately you're going to be a puppet to the party because you have to be, right? And this is the system. The system is broken. It's not your fault the system is broken. You just showed up and the system was broken, and now you have to live with a broken system. Look, Julia, Sage, I'm not sure if you're serious candidates or not. If you are, consider supporting me. If you're not, definitely consider supporting Troutman for America. But I'll keep an eye out for you guys. If something more comes, then we'll see. The two that do seem to be kind of committed to this are this gentleman, Michael Maxetti. So far, I kind of like this guy. I'll be honest with you. He was the very first guy to just quickly connect with me on LinkedIn. I sent him a request. He connects right away, right? This is a guy that, if you look at his materials, he's positioning himself as a centrist, as a moderate, as an independent almost, right? I mean, he's the sort of guy that in theory, I could get behind in theory. Now, he's an older gentleman. He's got kind of like caterpillar eyebrows, it begs the question of whether or not he's got the juice to get anything done out there in D.C. And again, I say this with love. He just doesn't strike me as like a powerful guy that's going to go out there and get anything done. But his heart really seems to be in the right place. He's got this rebel concept, which is you got to kind of educate yourself with nonpartisan facts, right? This is, you're speaking the czar's language. This is exactly what we're talking about. But ultimately, you got to question whether he's got the courage of his conviction when he's got a big R, like the big scarlet R sitting right there as a Republican, right? Again, I hate to just call someone out, especially someone who I like. I kind of like this guy. But if you are positioning yourself as an independent, if you're saying 50% of Americans identify as independent, if you want to position yourself in that light, which, by the way, is right. If you want to be part of, it looks like you've got some kind of a, you founded one organization, you're part of another that's kind of trying to drive toward nonpartisanship and drive toward independence, then why would you throw all that aside to put that Republican on your name, right? And this goes back to, integrity, right? People ask me all the time. Literally every day I get asked this question. Eric, why don't you run as a Republican? You would do so well. Eric, why don't you run as a Democrat? You would do so well. Yeah, I would do so well because I'm an outstanding candidate. So I could run as anything and be great at it. And I'm going to run as independent and hopefully be incredibly successful at it. But I know without question that it would be easier for me, right? The easy way out is what? Be a Democrat, be a Republican, right? Throw that little letter. And then when you get to the primary, what are these guys going to do? They're going to just check an R. They're going to check a D, right? Probably. Now, I've got to stop that, right? That's the problem. Is just automaton, we're robots, we're zombies, RD, right? Like, we've got to turn that mindset off. That is what this whole campaign is about, right? And now I know I can't win the primary unless people know who I am. Now, I'm Troutman. That name carries a lot of weight out here, right? For a number of reasons. We can talk about that. But at the end of the day, right, my integrity prevents me from pretending to be a Republican or a Democrat just because it would be easier for me. And I'm scared, I'm scared, Mr. Maxetti. I'm scared. I don't know this, but I'm scared that you are just putting that R next to your name because it's the easy way out. Either that, or that's the best case scenario, or the worst case scenario is you're a fraud. And you really are a Republican, and you figure, hey, look, if you come across as a rank-and-file Republican, you've got no chance. So you're going to position yourself as if you're not really a rank-and-file. You're going to position yourself as if you're a centrist, as if you are an independent, when you're not, and you're just trying to snow and confuse the voters. I hope that that's not the case. It doesn't seem like it, though. You seem like a guy who really is more on the independent side, to which I just say to you, look, man, be a man. Have integrity. Put that I next to your name. If you really are an independent, if you really are the person that you're pretending or saying that you are, if you really are that person, be an independent like me, right? Be fearless. Let's go. And if you do that, I'll respect you a lot. And I'll say a lot of positive things about you because I do think that your heart's in the right place. Do I think you'd be the right person to represent this district running against me? No, you still wouldn't be. But I'll tell you, you put an I next to your name, I'm going to have a lot of respect for you. I'm going to have a lot of personal respect for you. We'll see where that goes. Okay, and that just leaves this guy Hunter. I don't know. I don't know if he's real or like somebody that the Democratic Party is kind of putting up to try to block out the Republicans. So he started running before Prop 50. I'll be very curious to see like how long he actually stays in the race. Obviously, a Democrat running against men, right? That looks kind of disrespectful from the outside. Like, whoa, what are you doing? You're a Democrat. You're running against the establishment. I mean, not establishment. The guy's a first year, right? For men, he's a first year. I mean, he's not establishment either. But why would you run against the incumbent, right? But I mean, honestly, California jungle primary. You're only going to get 2 names on the ballot, right? So if you're the Democrats, play a little checkers. It's not exactly chess, right? This is not complicated math. Let's get 2 Democrats onto the general ballot. All right, well, let's just have some guy. He's a nice looking kid, right? Probably has a bright future ahead of him. He's a face with a nice smile. Somebody that you can kind of be like, oh, what a great story. Look at this kid and great story. So I could imagine that he's kind of like a pawn. I don't know this, by the way. I don't know this, but like I get the sense maybe the Democratic Party is kind of backing him like a, telling men, hey, don't worry, man, we're not really backing him, but let's just get him on the ballot. So it's you against him. And then, Miranda will make a nice showing, get 30% of the vote or something. Min will get 70% of the vote. Min goes off to Congress. Hunter's got some future ahead of him doing something else. I don't know. It just kind of feels, the whole thing kind of feels like a scam, right? It feels like Prop 50. It just feels like the hand to Sacramento's kind of moving pieces. And again, I could be wrong. This Hunter kid could be 100% genuine. And if that's true, then, Hunter, reach out to me, man. Let's have a conversation. I'll bring you on my YouTube channel. We can talk man to man. I got no problem with this because the other alternative, right? Either it's a scam or he really is a well-meaning kid, right? And if you listen to his stuff, he's a bit of a socialist, and that's okay, right? We love all kinds. He talks about the divisions between the working class, right? I mean, it's just kind of straight out of the proletariat discussion of, Marx and Engels, and it's fine, right? Like I went to Cal, I got exposed to some of this stuff. By the way, there's Oski, right? So like there's room in our society. There's room in our society for people who want to espouse certain very, very left-wing kind of thoughts. That doesn't offend me. I'm not offended by that as an American. But obviously this is not the kind of thing that's going to play on the national stage, and we know that. And so when you kind of listen to some of his videos, he's like, you can't keep sending the same kind of people. And I'm just like, dude, respectfully, you are the same kind of person. Like, you understand that, right? Unqualified, no experience, believers in ideology. These are exactly the people that get elected and go to Congress. You're not different. You're the same. This is how they all start, right? They all start this way. They go out to Congress with these ideas in their head their belief in their ideas, and very little really behind that, just they believe, and it doesn't go well, right? What we need, respectfully, is not young kids who believe stuff. Not what we need in Congress, guys. Not what we need. We need capable, intelligent leaders who have proven themselves to be capable, intelligent leaders who can go out there. Yes, they have ideas. Yes, they have beliefs, perhaps. But primarily, those beliefs should be, wait for it, the wisdom of the people, right? What the people want, what the people need. And again, constitutionally, it's not for any of us to tell the people what they should think. It's for the people to tell us what they think. And it is for us as representatives to go off to Congress and get it done. So, Hunter, you seem like a good kid. You seem very smart. You do. But let's be real, man. You're walking the same path as everybody else. If you actually want to affect change, if you actually want to change the world, go out there and get some experience. Go out there and become a great attorney. Go out there and start a business. Go out there and do something meaningful, impactful in private sector first. Become a monster. Live up to your potential. And then run for office. And hell, you do that, I'll support you. I'll back you, right? Because this is the way it's got to get done to see competent, capable people in D.C., which is really kind of what we all want. So, look, for right now, that's all I'm going to say about these guys, right? Like I said, I'm a nice guy. I'm not going to come too hard at anybody just yet. If you guys are still in the race come February, March, April, expect me to be a little less pleasant. Again, I've got a reputation as a very nice guy, but I'm also a very tough guy. You're going to learn that if you have to. You're going to learn that. I don't want that. But, I come from some very tough places. And that's something that everyone needs to keep in mind as we move forward here. Now, Dave Min, this guy. I don't know. I think I said enough about him. I'm going to talk about him plenty because I kind of have to. But just the more I absorb, the better I feel, frankly, about just running against him. I'm going to be honest with you. In the beginning, I felt bad. I have this thing where I really don't like picking on people. I really don't. I'm like the anti-bully, right? And I've got all these gifts, talents, and abilities. I've always been just kind of capable of things that other people aren't capable of, right? And I love helping. I love bringing people along. If you're weak and I'm strong, I want to bring you along, right? I want to. And by the way, if you're strong and I'm weak, I have no problem being like, dude, you're powerful. Help me, right? I really believe that the universe puts us in a position for a reason. We all have our gifts. We all have our talents. We have our abilities because the universe wants us to use those. And if I see that you've got an ability, man, I'm going to tell you, hey, that's a great ability. Can I tag along? Can I use that? And it's the same thing. If I've got an ability, I want to help other people. I love helping other people. So when Dave, I started running against this Dave Min guy, initially, like I said, he positions himself very well. Positions himself as a nice guy who's pretty smart. And, I like that. I like nice, smart guys, right? So I kind of felt bad. I'm like Katie Porter. I liked Katie Porter. We all kind of knew she was overwhelmed and she was stressed out and she couldn't quite handle life. But she was actually bright and powerful and thoughtful. And she had a lot going on. And so a while back, I thought about running against, I thought for running for Congress earlier. But I saw Katie and I was like, you know what? We all kind of know she's a bit of a mess, right? But her heart's in the right place and she's smart and she could probably get some stuff done. And she did. She was actually really good. So I'm glad I didn't run against her. And then so Min, I kind of felt bad because he's got kind of none of the special sauce that Katie had, right? He's very, very mundane. And I just thought, how unfortunate for him that he just lives in my district, right? And I just kind of felt victim of circumstance. I really feel bad. I did. I felt bad. I don't want to, this is his livelihood, I make millions of dollars. Man, I'm an attorney. I'm one of the best known people in the country when it comes to my area of law. If I happen to lose, which of course I would not, I'm fine, right? I'm fine. This poor guy, this is his life. This is his livelihood. I feel bad. I go in there, I beat this guy. What's he going to do with his life, right? So that's why I'm saying, you should just join me so that you don't have to have that insecurity. You feel confident. I'll take care of you, right? But the more I learn about him, the more I'm no, I think the universe put me in position for a reason. I don't think that this guy is a bad guy, but I don't think he's as good of a guy as he thinks he is. And I'm not talking about the DUI. I'm not talking about yeah, that's terrible. Don't drink and drive. Come on, people, do better. But that's not even what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is, just something about the way he criticized other parents. Like it just reminds me of the Bible, right? It's like before you remove the splinter in your neighbor's eye, you've got to remove the board out of your own eye. I try my best to not, certainly when it comes to parenting, I really try my best not to criticize other people and how they parent. Look, I've got opinions, right? And if I went to Dave's house, I'm sure I'd see 10 things over the course of an evening where I'm like, not what I would have done. But there's no way I would say you're a terrible parent because you make this choice or that choice, right? So to me, that just speaks to like a really unseemly level of arrogance. And on this podcast, he was just talking about, you got to be afraid, you got to be afraid, you got to be afraid. And I only fear one thing, and that's people who try to use fear to control you, right? If you've got a point to make, if you've got a vision, if you've got a platform, sell it. Sell it. I'll listen. I want to hear. And I think most people feel the same way. But when you get in there and you say the other side's trying to destroy our democracy, the other side can't be trusted, the other side is this, the other side is that, be afraid, be afraid, be afraid. Now, there's something wrong with that. There's something wrong with that. And so this is not the kind of person that I would like to see representing me, certainly. And it's not just that he's weak, and we know he's very weak. We know he can't get anything done with Trump. We know he can't get anything done in D.C. He's done okay in Sacramento, by the way. And I think Sacramento's a place for him. And like when Katie was out here, I thought she should run for Senate. I thought that was the right place for her. I think she screwed some things up. I think she got in her own way. Sometimes, you start to drink your own Kool-Aid, right? You believe too much maybe that you shouldn't, right? And so she got in her own way. And I think she's probably not going to be very successful now, which is too bad because she had a lot of upside. Dave, honestly, I think you were successful at the state level. I think you should consider just continuing to do that. That would be something that I would think that you should consider. And to the extent that I can be helpful to you in that in the future, I'd be happy to do it. But at the national level, guys, dealing with Trump, can we just pause for a second? You understand this guy is trying to defund the University of California right now. By the way, my school, UC Berkeley, they're trying to come after my school right now. Like, guys, seriously, let me handle this. I am very well equipped. Let me get out there, have a few conversations with some people. We got to get California treated right, okay? And look, Trump is one of these guys. I'm going to tell you a little secret. He's not as hard to deal with as you think he is, right? You just don't understand the psychology of the man. You don't understand who he is. You don't understand leverage. You don't understand how he goes about trying to make deals. I do. I know exactly what he's up to. He is not dumb, and he is not trying to firebomb California, even though it seems that way sometimes. But he's going to keep doing it. He's going to keep doing it if you keep coming at him with these weak plays like you do, all right? You want to do something about Trump, California? You want to do something about Trump, Dave Min? If you seriously, in your heart, want to deal with this Trump guy, you got to get me involved, all right? And yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a true independent. And that means there's going to be times that Trump does something great for California, great for our nation, great for District 47, and I'm going to support him, right? I'm not going to do this goofy stuff where the party line is just a fight because the party line is just a fight. I'm going to get in there, and when he's doing something right for California, or when I can make a good deal with a negotiation and get a good deal for California, a good deal for my people, I'm going to get it done. I'm free to do that. I am free in all the ways you are not, right? So if you really want results, if you really care about this district and the people here, if you really care about America and how the system is supposed to work, Dave, I'm your guy. I'm your guy. Think about that. All right. That's enough for today. I love all of you. Again, guys, keep the money rolling in. We're going to need it, okay? Because let's assume that Dave's going to stay in. Let's assume Hunter's going to stay in. The Democrats, they've got so much money in California right now. They've got plenty of money. They can just sprinkle it, just saturation bomb us with money, right? Because, the Republicans, unlikely, look, one of these consultants told me the other day, the Republicans never blow an opportunity to blow an opportunity, right, when it comes to California. So they were convinced that they were still going to run somebody, even though they've got no chance, even though everyone knows Republicans have a 0% chance of winning this district. There will still be a Republican that runs, right? And they'll still be very well funded, right? And again, you have the inertia. You have the zombie automaton vote, which is people just go in and say RD, RD, RD at the primary, right? So that is going to be the challenge. So if you want to see a winner, if you want to see this thing work the way it's supposed to work, America work the way it's supposed to work, qualified independent candidates who serve the people constitutionally, right? You want to be a part of this. You want to see this victory, and we know it's going to be a victory, but you want to be a part of that victory, right? Give some money. This is how you get it done. I told you, somebody gave $20. It just made me happy. It was just an amazing thing. Somebody gives $20 to a campaign. That's beautiful. I mean, don't get me wrong. The guys are giving me $1,000, $3,500. I love you. Maybe even more. But just like Christ said, right? You look at the person that gives of their wealth and you look at the person who gives of their poverty, you know, that person that's given of their living, like you're just like, man, I know you could have bought some eggs or some milk with that. Instead, you gave it to my campaign because you believe in America. Man, that hits me in the heart. And that's a beautiful thing. So no matter who you are, great, big, or small, support the campaign. And, you know, the rest of you, Julia, Sage, Hunter, Michael, and even you, Dave, again, I respect you guys. I respect you for getting into this race. I respect you for trying to serve your country. I think it's a great thing. I think that the greatest thing you can do at this point, though, is to drop out and support Troutman. I'm just telling you. I believe that is the right move for you right now, and I think it would really help our nation if you did that. If you really believe in our country, I want you to think about doing that. But regardless, no matter what you decide, I do respect you. I respect you for your efforts to try to serve this nation. I think it's a wonderful thing. For the reasons I articulated, and I'm going to articulate a lot more if I have to. Not sure you guys are the right fit, though. But for everybody else, I love you. America deserves to win. Don't forget that. America deserves to win. Chat soon.